Q&A number 4.
Number 4 already.
This is number 4. TJ Jackson and Francis Jackson from the Family Rules here, doing another Q&A for you guys. But before we get started with questions, there's a couple announcements we have to make. First, we released another episode of our Family Rules podcast called Simple Tips for Raising Confident Kids. We recorded it over the weekend, released it yesterday. Every Monday, we're releasing our podcast. And if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, you could do so in the link below in the description. We're going to do weekly, every Monday, a podcast on family, parenting, and relationships, I should say.
It's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Enjoy it.
Not only do we get to talk about, topics we love, but we're learning as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've experienced a lot in our lives. So we're learning from that, but we're also doing a lot of research to try to give you guys the best content we can.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it's helped us. So it's a win-win for us, and we hope you guys are enjoying it. With that said, I have to say this. Happy birthday, Fran.
Thank you.
Do you mind me saying how old you are?
No, not at all.
I didn't think so.
I'm happy about it.
Francis is 45.
Whoop whoop.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Yeah?
I feel really good. I want to thank everyone for all the love. I felt so much love yesterday with all you guys' posts and birthday wishes. So thank you so much for that.
Got a great fandom that's following and supporting us. So big thank you to each and every one of you guys.
Lots of beautiful messages.
Yes.
So thank you.
It means a lot. So, and it makes a difference in our lives. So thank you so much.
It does.
Okay. Anything else we wanted to announce before we get to these questions?
I don't know. You were saying something, something great about Francis. I don't know. You went into that and I kind of interrupted you.
Oh, well, you
Just
should be
kidding.
used to that. No.
Okay.
No, but it's what's cool real quick is this is only for a month period is where Francis is 4 years older than me. So
is that really true though?
In numbers, it is.
Technically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I take advantage of this next month, a month and 1 day. So it's really a month from today because that's when my birthday is. But I rib her a bit, but it's all love.
It is. It's all love.
You're the sexiest 45-year-old I've ever seen. So
Word.
Okay, so let's get to these questions. It's true. All right.
Mess.
Here we go. Karen wants to know, what did you learn from each other that you didn't know during the crisis? It's a good question.
That is a good question.
You want me to go first?
Sure. Yeah, because I feel like I know you.
Okay, I didn't learn anything, but I remembered something. How about that? I remembered how. Okay, no, let me say it like this.
Yeah,
I learned how obsessed she is with keeping things clean.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew this, but it was a reminder because since the crisis happened, no one came in the house. So that meant 100% everything was on Francis. And the house, there's a lot of us in here. So Francis had to put on many hats and for a long period of time. And she did a great job. But
thank you, honey.
Saying that, I got kicked out of a room.
He did. He got kicked out of you still sleep in our bedroom. It's just that he had to go downstairs in his own room.
So because I used to getting out and doing things and being on the run with the crisis going on, I couldn't be on the run. So I was making more of a mess quicker, at least to her satisfaction. So she put me downstairs.
He's a messy man.
And I didn't want to go. I was kicking and screaming, but I did go and it's been working out great. So now when I'm up late,
beautiful.
Because before during the crisis, I, was working a lot with Omar and just in music, strategizing. So I stayed up real late. And next thing you know, I'd be up at 4 or 5 in the morning when she's sleeping, getting ready to wake up with the kids. So she's not good with me being on my computer or there being some type of light in our room when she's trying to go to bed.
Or that when you're typing and oh my goodness.
And I buy the most calm keyboard pads to try, but she apparently
you only bought it when it was an issue. So you bought it recently during the pandemic because it's like, honey, is there a quieter keyboard that you could use?
But it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I still love him. But it's been great. I feel like, we get to see each other at the end of our day.
Yeah.
And
So I
it's
want to
cool.
know, what did you learn?
That's what
You
I was
knew
saying.
everything about me?
I
What?
did. I knew. Yeah, I did.
Nothing?
I don't think
Am I
there's
that bland? No?
You said it, not me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I kind of knew everything about
Okay.
you.
Okay. Well, I'll take
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Valeria wants to know, what's the funniest thing you both experienced? And belated happy birthday, Francis.
Thank you so much.
And we love you too,
Valeria.
Valeria. Thank you. What's the funniest thing you've experienced?
In my life?
I guess, or whatever.
You go first, because I have to think about that one. Do you even have one?
I have some funny moments. I'll say this. You always talk about how I laugh really hard when I'm with my childhood friends.
He does.
And
And one in particular, but yes,
a couple.
he does.
No,
yeah.
I think
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I have a great.
There's a few actually. But in saying that, his friends, childhood friends, are really funny.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
They could all be professional
Comedians. I think
comedians.
so.
And it's funny because when you're in a group with that, they bounce off of each other. They rib at each other. So it's a lot of fun. So it's definitely got to be somewhere there with them. I mean, obviously, I've had some great funny moments with my brothers and my uncle and my father, who's very funny. But at least for the recent years, it's definitely with my friends who, you guys probably see, if you follow me on Instagram and stuff, you'll see me go on trips with Francis to certain locations with some of my childhood friends. So that's the crew that makes me laugh. And there's another who's, yeah, you guys see it. So it's actually a group of 3 guys that are just hilarious.
I feel the same way with my friends. Like once we get together, the 3 of us.
I don't see you laughing that.
That's because you don't really know what we talk about.
Oh.
And it's probably best that way. But we have a great time.
Okay.
I have a great group of girls that we see every few months or so, and they're pretty hilarious.
That's true.
Yeah.
I forgot about that group. Okay.
Yeah.
So Lachey wants to know, first, I want to say happy birthday to you, Francis.
Thank you so much.
I love you from the bottom of my heart.
I love you more. It's sweet.
My question is, how would you describe your relationship in 3 words?
Ooh.
I'll say one, and then you say one, and then
Okay.
I'll say one, then you say one, then I say one, then you say one.
Okay. Or yeah.
All right.
That works.
And we can't copy each other's words.
Boo.
All right. So
okay.
We got to be original. Okay. Describe the relationship in 3 words. I would say beautiful.
I would say loyal.
I would say comforting.
I would say loving.
Okay, it's my last one, so it's got to be a good one. I would say magical.
Aw.
It is.
It's kind of like I was going to say happiness.
Well, there you.
Yeah.
And for those, I'm telling you, I didn't see myself being in a relationship. I mean, it's not something.
Not a relationship. You mean like a.
I didn't see myself being
married.
Not only married, but I didn't see myself experiencing how I feel about Francis with someone. I didn't. I mean, I didn't know this existed when you're young and.
I didn't either. Believe me.
There's a lot of young males out there that I understand, who are saying, I'm never going to get married. I don't know if I want this. I don't know what that. And I kind of can understand that because I was one of them. But I have to say, and like I tell them, keep your mind open. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way, but don't close it off. Keep your mind open. And I truly believe that because I feel each and every year my love for Francis grows and I feel like our union is getting, I was going to say unity, but our union is getting with more depth, and our relationship's just getting stronger. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's an amazing feeling to have.
And just so we're clear, it's not always like peaches and cream. Every relationship, no relationship's perfect, but we really try to understand each other. I think patience and compromising is really important, but it's like we're best friends.
And I think a lot of us I should say a lot of us, but I don't, as the years go by, maybe it's we understand each other more and more, but I feel like we don't argue and fight as much. We
Mm-mm.
really understand more and more. And it's crazy because you would think after all these years, there's nothing new to learn, but that's
There
not true.
is, yeah.
There's always stuff you can learn even after 5, 10, 15, 20 years of being together. So it's a beautiful journey and one that I'm very thankful for.
Me too.
All right, let's keep it moving. So Nikki wants to know, hey, TJ, what is the best meal Francis can cook?
I know this one.
You do?
Yeah.
What does it start with?
I want to.
I know what
I want to know because I want to see it, and I'll tell you if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Well, how about this? You say what it starts with, and I'll say it quickly.
Okay,
if you're
tea.
No. I mean, I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, you're saying because it's breakfast.
Well, and I'm not even a
Okay.
breakfast person, so
You're really not. Yeah.
But you were gonna say tacos, which
I
are
was gonna say
fantastic.
tacos.
Francis makes some really good tacos. But the one I was originally gonna say was pancakes. Francis makes a mean.
I don't know how,
a
but
mean.
so does my mom, though.
Yes.
My moms are better. They're great.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't want pancakes anywhere else. If I can have Francis's pancakes with Aunt Jemima light syrup and some turkey bacon, I'm good.
You good to go, huh?
I am good to go. So yes, but what do you like to cook, Fran?
Those two things are pretty simple because I know that they're gonna taste pretty well.
Yeah, Francis can cook. Don't let her modesty fool you.
My family would say I can't cook, so
Sienna says tacos. I love it.
Yeah, they're great.
Okay, so Alucci, and this should be that's another thing. I know we're in the midst of answering your questions, but if there's any topics you want us to answer on our podcast, feel free to. You guys can email us if you have any great ideas. You can email us at yourfriends@thefamilyrules.com, and we will be checking our emails. We're not the best at it, but only because we have so much going on, but we're checking it more and more.
We're trying to get better with it, though.
But if there's topics you want us to cover for the Family Rules podcast, again, subscribe in the description box. But if there's topics you want us to cover, or even just feedback, if you feel it's too short, it's too long, I think this, because one feedback I love, and I'm so happy I'm talking about this, is that you don't talk enough and I cut you off. That's something some people.
Really?
Yes.
But it's because I'm shy and I'm still getting used to it.
Thank you.
That's what it is. And he knows that. So he knows that he has to kind of carry the load, you know?
But I will say, as we go on, she's talking more and getting more comfortable, because I'm looking at you guys here, but I'm also looking at her here just to assess her comfort.
Don't assess me.
To assess her comfort ability.
No assessing here. Come on now.
And, I want her comfortable, and she's a brilliant person. So as time goes on, I see her getting more comfortable, and I will be holding back more because, oftentimes I feel like I do have to talk because she's shy.
I am shy.
But it's important. There was a question I meant to go to. Yes, the topic. Oh, great. Now I don't know how to find that thing. So anyway, the question was, what is the most important part of a relationship? I think that was. So that sounds to me like a podcast. Should we just save that answer for an upcoming podcast?
I think so. But that's a great question.
So whether it's in the next several podcasts, we will answer that question because that's just too good of a question to answer in 30 seconds. Look at her. She's even trying to manage the
I'm
controls.
trying to read them, but there was someone had a question. I think it was about your mom.
Okay, here we go. Renee asks, what do you think your mom would have liked most about being a grandma? Okay, I love that question. So Renee, obviously for those who don't know, I lost my mother at 16. Obviously the most difficult and hardest time in my life and the biggest loss I've had. It's still, for anyone who's experienced this, it's still something that just doesn't go away. You don't just forget about loss. You don't just get over it. You navigate through it and you learn how to deal with it, and you learn how to listen to yourself. And it's something that my brothers and I are very strong on. And we started the Dee Dee Jackson Foundation, which there's a card that just showed up above Francis' head, where you can listen to our episodes, where for those of you who are going through any type of struggle, we probably have an episode for you that can help you get through it. As for what I think my mother would have liked most about being a grandma, I think it would just be my mom was the kind of mom where, like, if she always thought something was cute, so she always pinched you
I
and
do
would
the same
laugh
thing.
and like smack you
I
because you were
smack
so
because they're
cute.
so cute.
That was my mom. So I know my kids would have gotten a lot of that. She would have loved to have been there for them at their sporting events and their academic, successes.
Yeah.
Whenever one of them would have achieved an award, she would have been there, probably before us, because I'll take the blame. I would have been making us late. But
that's him, you guys. That's him.
Okay, for this stuff, it is me. But when we're going somewhere, it's oftentimes that one. But that's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, she would have loved all that, just seeing her grandkids and being in their lives. And that's why it's so hard for me even today to deal with that sometimes, because my mother was a very active mom, and she would have been an equally as active grandmother. And it breaks my heart knowing how much my kids are missing that, and my nephews and nieces.
Mm-hmm.
I should say nephews and niece, but we're all missing that, and it's tough. But I have to be grateful for the time I did have with my mother. I have to be grateful for everything she taught me while she was here, and I try to focus more on that. Otherwise, it could put me down to a negative state of mind, which isn't healthy for me or my family. So. But I appreciate the question, Renee, and don't ever, for anyone watching, I love my mother and love thinking about her. I've been smiling a lot through this answer, and it's cool to hear a question like this. So thank you.
That's sweet.
Let's see this. I'm not even sure this is a question because I just clicked it. But Chloe says, my daughter is 18 years old. She would like to make an au pair girl. Don't know what that means.
I don't either. What
Maybe
is
a
that?
friend in the United States. But I'm very afraid for her. Can you reassure me on the subject if you know more? Love your family. So do you want to talk about, while I maybe look up what the term au pair means, do you want to talk about letting go of your child in case it means a journey? Because I think it does mean a journey. First of all, maybe we should just ask you, what does au pair mean? Please let us know. It's a nanny.
Oh.
She would like to become a nanny. She would maybe like to nanny a girl in the United States. And I feel like that's a term I should know that, because I see a lot of our American
people know. Yeah.
People know. So there you go. You don't know everything.
We don't.
So she would like to be 18 and nanny, but she's afraid for her. Can you reassure her on the subject if you know more? Anything you want to answer on that?
I mean, I think that I feel like that's going to be hard, especially at 18, to allow her to go. I mean, I don't know, like in your country here, it's like when you're 18, you're allowed to make your own decisions or whatever. I would, if it's something she's really strong about and passionate about, I would let her try it. Because, there was a situation actually when I first moved to California. I was 18 and I was really doubting myself on coming. And I was like, you know what, Mom, I don't think I'm going to go. I just don't feel like it's the right thing to do. And my mom told me, she said, look, go and try it. And if you really don't like it, I'll send for you and you can come back. And I'm glad she did, because she gave me that extra push to try something new. And I'm used to being around my family so much. I was worried that like I wouldn't do well without them. Well, lo and behold, here it's, 20 something years later and I'm still in California. So I would really encourage it. It's probably going to be harder for you than it is your daughter. Mm-hmm. But if it's something she's passionate about, there's a lot of good agencies here in the States that you can go through and read reviews and stuff like that.
And a couple of things. Again, you have to support. I'm not saying you're not, because you didn't suggest that, Chloe, but for any parents out there, support your children in what they want to do. As long as it's legal and it's something they really want, support it. Not all of our kids are going to do things we think is the best for them or something we would want them to do, but it's not our lives and we have to support them. To piggyback, I love the idea of suggesting an agency because they have there's some protection that way.
Yeah.
There's I don't know exactly. I don't work for a nannying agency, but I'm sure there's some type of protection they would have and some type of rules and guidelines for her to be not only the best she can be, but also the safest. Because I'm not saying that there's many crazy people out there, but maybe that's part of the fear is that she'll become a au pair. I don't even know if I'm saying that, but she'll become a nanny or a live-in nanny with a family that is not respecting her. So maybe if she has an agency or at least a friend group, maybe a Facebook group that she's part of, she can voice any issues she's having and we'll get proper feedback back. Because if we don't have that outlet, a lot of times we'll just take it upon ourselves and try to tough it out. And these kind of things, these big movements are something that we need to make sure we have a support system for. The other thing I want to say about being, first of all, you were a caregiver.
I was.
So,
but I wasn't a live-in.
You weren't a live-in.
No.
But Frances was a caregiver as well, which was very attractive. But but here's the thing. I just think you have to make sure before she takes off on that journey, before she comes to the States, have a great talk with her. Tell her you're excited for her, you're worried about her, you're scared for her. Tell her the truth.
Yeah.
Tell her you're proud of her, and just let her know, like Frances said, you will be there to support her. If she changes her mind, you will be there
she can
to
always
help
go
her.
home.
She can come home and restart. That is so important for an 18-year-old to hear. We don't want to kill their ambition. We don't want to kill their desire to try new things, but we have to be there to let them know we'll be there to help them reverse step if needed. And even if that's something where you have to explain a personal experience where you went after something, didn't like it, and came back, feel free to share it. But yeah, we have to be there. We have to support them. And that's it. Just have a great talk with her, talking about the importance of having a good characteristics. I'm sure she was raised with good morals and good ethics. Remind her of that. Remind her of the patience and the difficulties of the job. But just, again, let her know that you'll be there to support her.
That's important. I like this question.
Which one? This one?
That one, yeah.
Okay, so this will be our last one because we're already past 20 minutes and we try to do 20, but we always go over. So we're going to end with this one. Joseline Tapia.
Hi, Joseline.
Cool name, Joseline. Yeah. Frances, what do you think TJ would be like when Didi and JoJo start dating?
Well, I used to think he would be very strict and, given the side eye. I think that's more me. I'm the one who you kind of silently, I don't want to say judge, but size them up.
I do.
You're not very vocal because we went through this with Lexi a bit, but I'm very particular and strict when it comes to that.
And I got to be careful because I don't want to cut you off, but this is something I'm passionate about. This is my thinking. You don't look when it comes to someone like your child, you can't ignore the fact that you probably are going to size someone up or judge them. That's human nature.
Yeah.
We want the best for our kids.
It's
We love them.
Yeah.
It's our baby. So it's natural. However, you can come back from that initial judgment, and that's important. So no matter what the person looks like, the words they're using, the car they're driving, what's on their keychain, what's on their clothes.
He's looking at all of it.
I am. And I'm not going to lie and say, no, I don't judge it. No, that's just normal. I think it's normal human, being. But like I said, you have to be able to rewind and really think about character. So no matter what someone is wearing, what they're looking like, sure, there's things I'd prefer, but it's not my life. And as long as that person, and I feel when that person, upon meeting them, leaves with my daughter, and I feel that the person genuinely cares for my daughter or son, but in this case, daughter, and is there for the proper reasons, I'll be accepting of that.
As long as they have a good heart, I think that's what's most important. You can tell when someone's a good person. That's the most important.
And I think she was right. When I was younger, I didn't want girls because I didn't want to have to go through this situation of...
He was terrified.
I was, for multiple reasons.
That was your upbringing, though.
Probably. But it was for multiple reasons, not just this exact scenario. But as I've gotten older, I've learned the trick as a father, as a parent, is to raise your kid from the beginning, your daughter in particular, to be strong
and not put up with any mess,
and not put up with anything, to know what a good boyfriend or man is like, and to teach them that from the beginning, not when they're 15, 16. You may have already kind of lost a lot of your influence on them at that point. But even Frances is watching a show on, I don't know, is it Netflix? One of those shows, but it's a romantic type of show. And she lets Joe watch it with her. And it may be not appropriate for a 9-year-old, but there's a lot of great romantic gestures that she wants JoJo to see and to witness that isn't so prevalent or prominent in today's culture. But she wants her to have that and understand that this is what it should be like. And I love that. And I respect that.
You should be courted and yes, respected. It's so important.
And those kind of things, I think, are what's helped me, because I feel, at least for all the girls, and I'm going to just talk about Dee Dee and Paris, and I'm sorry, Lexi and Paris and Dee Dee coming up. I'm very confident in Dee Dee, and I feel they've all been very strong, and they've been the kind of girl that like won't take no mess. And I think that's super important. You know, we all want supportive women as a male. We all want supported, you know, girlfriends or wives. But at the same time, if your heart as a male, if your heart is right, you will accept that strength. You know, it's only when you're not a good person, in my opinion, do you disregard that person who's going to look after themselves. Yeah. I hope that made sense, but
that makes sense.
It's very important. And for that, we have to end because we went over 25 because my answer was long. But did you answer this, by the way? Because I just got off to it.
Well, I started it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thought, you would size them up, but you would do it very discreet.
And I'm not going to be, go change this, or where are you guys going? Not. That's not my style.
He would come to me and then I would have to, go talk to the girls.
I want my kids to be independent. I want them to make their own mistakes, but I want them
to a certain extent. We do. Yes.
But I want them to be independent. I want them to learn. I feel that's the best way to learn. If I say you have to be back in an hour, if it's, if I'm overbearing when they're 21 or 18, they may go the other way. And I don't want that. I always want that open communication. There's many different theories and ways to handle this. And I'm not going to say anyone is wrong or right. I just know for us living in Los Angeles, California, which is
it's more difficult.
Which is more difficult.
I can tell you that. I'm from Texas, so I know that.
So it's you have to figure out what's the best method, not only where you're living and who their friends are, but for each child. And I think it depends.
And that's why when we just did the podcast on how to raise a confident child, that's important. It really does start there. Cool. Raise them confident when they're younger. And believe me, they're not going to put up with that mess, any mess from anyone, boy or girl.
Love it. All right. We are closing. Reminding you guys to subscribe to not only our YouTube channel, which is that, I always get the two, which is that red box down there, but also it's tough. It's like a mirror. It's backwards. See, like if I touch my right ear right now, oh no, that would still work. But if I try, I don't know. Let me try to touch your right ear.
Stop.
Wait,
without looking at me. That's my left.
It is. See, it's messed up. But anyway, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, down there. And our podcast, which is in the description box. But thank you guys so much. We enjoy this. We love your support. We hope you're finding some of this educational and helping you. God bless you all. Take care.
Love you all. Thank you for the great questions.
And thank you for the great questions. And happy birthday, honey.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.